What's up, everybody? Welcome to an episode of U.G.D Live. I am your host, James. I am here with, listen, this is family. So I'm not even going to talk. I'm not even going to talk like he's just a guest to the show and everything. Like this guy right here is family. And when I tell you the people that we bring here on the platform, I consider them extended family because they're doing so much, obviously not only to further their careers, but they're supporting us too. And I've been here doing this media thing for 24 years now, almost 25 years. And my biggest thing has been to build genuine relationships with the guests that we bring here on the different platforms that we have. Obviously, I started with just a magazine and
Mm.
I didn't have any idea of what I necessarily wanted to do. I knew I just wanted to do media and do interviews with people. And after getting that started, somehow I ended up in radio and then a little bit of podcasting and then doing some PR and I'm all over the place now. So now I have this full media company, again, podcast network, many different platforms. I got people doing shows on the network, but then I got about 20 different shows that I'm doing and I'm all over the place. But it's really, really cool because I get these amazing people who come on the platform one time and then they keep coming back. So our guest tonight has been here before, not on UGD Live, but he's been on the network before. So of course, when the opportunity came up, I said, let's do it. And he was on one of my favorite shows at the time. Okay, I'm gonna say two of my favorite shows, but one of them probably shouldn't be my favorite, but we're gonna talk about that. So I
Okay.
want you guys to help me to welcome Mr. Jimmy Gary Jr. to
Hello.
what's going on, man?
What's happening, brother? What's happening?
Man, listen, I'm having a good time doing this media thing, but I'm grateful to you specifically, and then
Mm.
just to people like yourself who come on the platforms and who just give us that time where they talk about their projects, talk about what they're doing in the community, and you have some amazing things going for you. I definitely want to reach a little bit back just to kind of let people who are popping in. I see some people coming in on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube is coming along, but we've only been live for 2 minutes, so some more people will start popping in here. But you were part of Orange is the New Black. And at the time, like that was like one of my favorite shows, man. Like when I tell you, like I would be sitting in front of the TV, like watching it, and from Crazy Eyes to like all the different characters that were on there, and then obviously you. And there was another young lady who came on, and she played an officer, and her name skips me right now, but I was blessed to interview a number of people from that platform. So it
Mm.
was really cool that you came on. You gave me that opportunity. Number one, just to get to know you, but then to really talk about the part that you played in that show. But then you've done
Yeah.
stuff on All My Children, and I can't even front, man. As much as I want to say that that wasn't one of my favorite shows, like I couldn't help but watch it because my grandmother watched it, my
Yep.
mother, watched it, my other grandmother watched it. My grandfather was like a soap buff, so like I mean, if we really
Yeah.
talk about a family liking it, so growing up, I ain't had no choice but to watch All My Children and stuff like
Hey.
that. The Erica Kanes and like all the different people that
Yes.
were on that show, like
Hmm.
it was monumental for you to be a part of something like that. But I mean, you've done many different projects along the way, but
Right.
you also you were doing a lot in the community. Like you saved somebody's life recently, and I'm gonna definitely
Yeah.
have to talk about that a little bit. But I think this is just an opportunity to really catch up with you, to know what's been going on over the last few years. Definitely talk about these two new movies that you got coming out next week, which is like monumental to me.
Yeah.
So what's good, man? I'm gonna open the floor up to you and let you kind of
Uh,
introduce yourself and get us going.
yeah. Definitely, man. Well, first of all, I'm grateful and I'm very thankful, for you to have me on the show.
Yeah,
PR is something that's is very important, for an
yeah,
actor or artist to get themselves out there,
yeah,
and it kind of, one hand washes the other hand, and it works out very well. But speaking of All My Children, that was my first television show. I mean,
yeah,
I got my SAG card with that show.
yeah. I saw that.
Um, yeah, and so that was an experience for me. It moved at a real fast pace, the show,
Yeah,
compared
but a lot of
to
people,
other
and not to
network
cut you
shows.
off, but a lot of people don't realize how important that is for you to have your SAG card. So kind of just speak on that just briefly to let people know like the importance of having that SAG card and you getting your card with that, because I would imagine that opened up the door to so many other opportunities now because you had your SAG card.
Oh yeah, it did. Of course, having a SAG card. Some actors spend years trying to get a SAG card, whether they tap hardly in from doing background work and featured extras, and they do so many, then they get these certificates. I was just blessed to be able to do a project and go walk right in the door. But that having that SAG card is important because a lot of the films that you see on television and the ones that come out in the movie theaters, those are SAG films. It's a union. um, as an artist, you need protection.
Absolutely.
There are people out here that feel like what you do is easy. So look, let's just have you do it for nothing and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. It's one of the most acting is one of the most challenging uh, things that I've ever done in my life
Yeah.
because once you do a project and you master that project and you shoot the film and you're great in it. Now your next project comes up and it's like you're a baby now in the acting world.
There,
It's like, oh,
like being on All My Children, and actually before I even get to that question, I'm gonna acknowledge our guest who's actually in the chat room already, Cat Queen. She said All My Children was my fave, and she said Tabitha was my girl too.
oh
Um,
yeah,
I think my next question is just going to be really in reference to All My Children. Like, what was it like for you to come into an ensemble cast of individuals like that, like who are all phenomenal in their own right,
yeah,
and to be new coming into something like that and having to basically show and prove?
yeah. It's a wonderful feeling. You have to believe that you belong there. And it's not like I walked off the street and auditioned and got into
Yeah,
All My Children. No,
yeah,
after I left football, I went back to West Virginia University and studied acting,
yeah.
to get my BFA in acting.
I
And
love
then
that.
I came to New York. So I came as a trained actor. So I felt like I had did musical theater and a lot of musical theater in West Virginia Public Theater. So I was, pretty seasoned, my chops. So I felt like when I was there, even though I was there for a short while, I felt I made my presence like I was
Absolutely,
there. I
absolutely,
belong there.
absolutely.
And so,
And I
yeah,
love
so
that part of it, like where you say I belong there. And that's one of the
right.
things, like, with all of the platforms that we do and just the conversations that we have, like, we really try to instill upon people or impress upon people that, like, you're where you are for a reason and everything happens
Mhm.
for a reason and you're where you're supposed to be. And, like, God, all of that stuff. So I
Yeah,
think it's cool because what you're saying is really helping somebody out there who thinks that I'm not in the right place, or I need to be here, or this is not big enough
right.
to be, or like I think that's really, really dope that you said it that way.
I mean, you're going to continue. Every artist is going to continue to think like that. I mean, you
Absolutely.
got guys like Will Smith, Jamie Foxx that can
Yeah,
basically greenlight any project, and they
absolutely.
sit around and is like, man, what am I going to do next?
Uh-huh.
What do I want to do?
You're so
Because
right.
they know, right? Because the work, it takes work. So
Uh,
now artists just don't do a project just to do a project. It's like, okay, do I have the time to put the work in for this project to
absolutely.
give it its best feet so it can
Absolutely.
run?
But
And so
but
it's
the way you tackled it too, though, like coming from football and then you went back to school and you studied acting and got your BF, like that's dope. Because a lot of people would come
yeah.
from football or come from sports or whatever else it was they were doing. A lot of people would come from that and just want to jump right in because of who they are or what name they feel like they have, but you took it serious. Like when you look at a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
the thespians and the veteran actors out
Mhm.
there, like that was a big beef that people like Samuel Jackson used to have is individuals just jumping into it and not taking it serious and that sort of thing. So I mean that alone shows that you took it serious.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I tell my daughter now, she's 11 and she wants to act. So, I hooked her up with my agent. She goes, auditioning. She's been doing that for like the past 4 years. But I tell her she don't like to put the work in. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, this is something that you may not want to do because, you're going to have to audition 1,000 times to get lucky once for a big
yeah.
project. But if you put the work in, that lowers that number. You know, you can go out 1,000 times. You're gonna at least book probably 100 of them. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're gonna get some bookings.
absolutely.
It's just about putting the work in. When I left football, I knew I wanted to act. You
Yeah,
know, because Jim Brown was like that was my one of my role models growing up, Jim Brown,
yeah,
and seeing him, you know, go from football to acting, that was my thing. I played running back, he played running back, you
yeah.
know, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to follow in the footsteps of Jim Brown. And so I knew that even Jim Brown, you know, yes, he was off of films, but he got training first. He just didn't jump up there and do it, you
Absolutely.
know, because you want longevity. You don't want to be just a person that's just there for one film and never see them again. You know, you want longevity, and each character requires different attributes. You know,
Uh-huh.
they require a whole different personality because it's a different person you're playing. So it takes understanding the craft to know how to do that, and yeah, and so that's I'm big on that. You know, some people ask me like, "Hey man, I want to be an actor." I'm like, "Okay, go find a theater and start doing some theater." You
Uh,
know, local theater. You know, get yourself going. Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
What is it like for you? Like, I love the fact that you're making your daughter put in the work, and you've said, listen, like it's a lot of work with this. Audition a million times to get lucky one good time. But what is it like for you to still kind of be able to, you know, push her into like greater opportunities? Like you hooked her up with your agent and that sort of thing, and being able to open her up and give her access to certain things that may be more difficult for her to get. Like, what type of feeling does that give you? You know, being
Oh,
able.
it gives me a great feeling for me to be able to present her with those opportunities.
Yeah,
But it's not such a great feeling when she doesn't take it as
yeah,
serious as she
yeah,
should, you know? It's
yeah,
like, come on now. I understand, you know, that this is important. You really have to take it real, you know, serious. And as she got older, she came to me and she said, you know, I think I'm serious now. I want to go on auditions again. I think
yeah,
I'm serious. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you a couple weeks to think about it,
yeah.
you know, and just let
But
her
it's
think about it and ponder on it.
like it's good that you did it the way that you did, though, because I think that that's. I just think that's a thing that's innate with kids. Like they feel like it's an easier way, and even though you telling them that it's difficult and it's X Y Z you got to put into it, they still gonna kind of try to do their own thing for a minute, and then I think at some point they kind of realize or it clicks. Um,
Yeah, you know, they're working against technology too. You know, technology, their attention span is shorter. So, you know, to sit down and really study a script and to go over it, to sit down and read a 110-page script, you know, in one setting, you know, you got to really have some focus. And I think because of technology with kids, it's hard for them to sit down and read a 5-page
absolutely,
script, you know, a 120-page script. So, you know, you know, she'll learn. She'll get, at least she knows that she's got the foundation. It's an option for her in
yeah,
her life. If she wanted to do it, she can say, okay, I know where to start. I know how to start doing it. And I know what type of work it's going to take. So,
absolutely. So now it's been, I mean, it's definitely been 2 years, maybe 3 years since I talked to you and you were doing Orange is the New Black. So the show's been going
yeah.
off for quite a while now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's been happening for you for the last few years? I know that you have two projects that are gonna be coming out
Mhm.
next Friday, but what kind of got you up to this place where you are now, or what's been going on in it?
Oh man, a lot happened in my life since Orange is the New Black. And during that time, I'm divorced.
Yeah.
You know, um, I'm
What's happening?
happy,
I am too. But yeah,
single. You know, just focusing on myself. And
yeah.
you know, my sister has a management company, and
Okay.
I have an artist that I help her out with. You know,
Okay.
uh, yeah. So you know, I'm just staying busy. I just shot a film back in my hometown, romantic comedy that I wrote, directed, and produced.
Wow.
Um, yeah, since Orange, man, I've done Ray Donovan. I've done
Yeah. Yeah.
New Amsterdam, When They See Us.
Uh huh.
I've done a lot. Give a shout out to Ava. That's my girl.
Yeah.
she's a powerful, powerful chick, man. I'm telling you,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and she's powerful, and she's just straight. She's just fun to work with, man. Fun to work with. She came in my neighborhood when they shot When They See Us in the Bronx, and they filmed in my house also. And the character I played actually lived in Harlem. So after they filmed on my block for a month and a half, I had to do my stuff in Harlem. So I was
Yeah.
living there. I had to go to Harlem. I didn't have the luxury to walk out of my door right on set, and just walk into my dressing room and get ready to rock. I didn't have that opportunity. But
Yeah.
that was a film that I really felt great. I felt good being a part of because of the history, of the Central Park Five and what those young men went through during that time. I can't imagine my kid going through something like that, being under that type of pressure. And
Right.
so, it was a lot of tears happening on that set, and so the scene, my character, Ty the Barber, I kind of brought some light to it. She told me she wanted to bring light to it. So I just was like, okay, I have to be the bright light in this dark room right now.
Right.
And so I just did what I had to do, man. And it was real light. It gave people had a chance to actually breathe and smile because it's such a sad series. It's very sad. Um, but yeah, that was a wonderful experience
Now, I think that's
working with.
dope. Like, what is your take on just where the industry is, like the film industry is as a whole? Like, I feel like things have advanced so much, and you have so many amazing and talented women now who are like like they're at the helm of it, and they're running a lot of things. You got Ava. I mean, it's a number of people that you have out there
Yeah.
are doing doing some amazing work. Like, what is it like for you to be a part of this industry and now see women and black women at that in a place where they're in a sense kind of taking over?
Well, I say that it may look like they're taking over, but they still got some work to do.
Oh yeah,
And one or two isn't enough. I personally, believe, from my experience working in this industry and participating in over 50 something projects, I really absolutely enjoyed working with women directors. I enjoy working with the guys too, but it's a difference, and which was great for me because I grew up with five sisters, so I can be bossed around and not take it, not get offended,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Not get
right,
offended. And then working with male directors is like, okay, I'm putting on my football uniform, let's go play ball. So it's real, rewarding, for the accomplishments that black women have made in cinema. I just say, tell them keep going and call me, hire me. I love working with
yeah,
the new era of women that's coming in and making their footprint in
absolutely.
in the movie industry. Yeah,
I think it's amazing too that first and foremost, you mentioned you like I've done over 50 some odd projects, and like that's amazing to be in that place to be able to say I've done this many projects and that you've done this much work in this industry.
yeah.
Not even just with acting, like you've really transitioned into being a producer and being a director. Like, how is that for you? Kind of stepping over to that side from the acting side of it.
It's more work. It's
Oh,
more work
that's
than
true.
an actor. I can tell you that it's more work. And I believe acting for over 20 years and being on sets. I was that I'm that type of actor where I'm always listening because I want to learn. So I found myself on Orange is the New Black, sitting behind the cameras and the TV monitors with Ginger Cohen,
Yeah,
episodes, or I'm on. That's with different directors on Orange is the New Black because I was on there for 3 seasons.
yeah,
So I work with numerous of directors. Um, fabulous director I worked with from he directed me in FBI Most Wanted recently that came out last year, I believe. And I played prison warden Nesbitt, and
Mm.
the director was wonderful. A guy too, he had that football, like he could have been the quarterback. He called me like, and this rarely happens, man. It rarely happens. The director call you 2 weeks before you start filming and say, "Hey, listen, I got some movies I want you to watch and a couple books I want you to take a look at." You know what I'm saying? So you kind of get into their mind of what they vision is going to be like. And so as an actor, we kind of merge the two ideas together, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience, working with a director like that I felt was invested in my performance, invested in me, wanted not only wanting to the project to be really good, but also wanted every actor to go out there and really do a great job and bring something to the project that they've never seen before. So he was like, "You're very soulful, Jimmy. You're soulful." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from the South. I'm a country boy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
soulful. I got it." And he's like, use it."
yeah,
And so that's how I played the character, just with a lot of soul. He cared. He meant business, but he cared.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, um, Deeply. He cared deeply. So working with men directors, women directors is wonderful. More women are coming up now, so I'm getting a chance to work with more women,
yeah,
which brings us to Oh High.
yeah. And that's one of your
You
movies.
know,
That's one of your movies that's getting ready to hit on the 25th, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. You know, that was an amazing experience. We had so much fun. Um, you kind of have those moments, when you're riding in the van and you're sitting in the same van with some of the other lead actors who, you know, they're on Jimmy Kimmel one night and they're on another show the next night,
Yeah,
and so you kind of be like, you kind of say, okay, yeah, I'm here. Um, and you meet people, you network, and it was one of those sets, everybody got along, man. It was so much fun. It was one of the best, I say, one of the best sets that I've been on. The movie Oh High on that set. It was amazing. Yeah, everybody was nice, and we spent the night, so we had overnight stay for a little bit, and we stayed in this cabin, man. It was beautiful. They just treated you like you was like you're supposed to be treated.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was a wonderful experience.
So, oh hi, like, tell everybody what that's about. Like, tell them what that's about.
Well, basically, it's a romantic comedy, and I'm gonna give just a little bit of it because it's released on the 25th.
Yeah,
But it's a romantic comedy, and it's basically about this girl meeting this guy, and they take a trip, and they're out on this trip, and 3 dates, and they out in this cabin hanging out, and being girlfriend and boyfriend, and um, she's thinking that their girlfriend, that she's his girlfriend, but he looks at her and is like, "No, we're not dating.
right.
We're not." And from that point, all hell breaks loose. So you'll
Okay,
get to,
okay.
you'll get to see it. Yeah.
Now, the crazy thing is, I'm not even gonna say the crazy thing, but I actually like movies like that. Like, I like
Mm,
movies like that. So I'm
yeah.
actually looking forward to seeing that. You also have The Home, which is dropping on the 25th. Um,
Yes.
Talk a little bit about The Home.
Well, The Home is a horror film starring Pete Davidson. I got a chance. David DeMonico, the director, writer of the Purge series. I'm just so thankful that he, chose me to make a little cameo in it. Sometimes you get those blessings and you just get a call and they say, "Hey, Jimmy, we want you."
Yeah,
It's like, "Here, can you do this? Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Don't ask me twice. I'm in." This is the Purge series. Come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
I don't care if I was just walking by and just saying, "Hey, what's up?" You're in it, man. This is something huge for me. It's a part of a series that's going to be in the horror hall of fame. You know what I'm saying? It's in that genre and it's huge. So that was really um, a great experience, man. And working with Pete Davidson was real cool. I mean, it was during the time when he was going through all that Kim Kardashian stuff when we
Yeah.
filmed it, you know, and Kanye. So he had all these
I,
bodyguards around him and
I
shit.
was gonna, I was gonna say he had enough energy in him from all that stuff to make it good.
And, oh yeah, yeah. You know, he had all these bodyguards and stuff around him and stuff, and they were cool. You know, most
Yeah.
big guys like that, they, pretty cool, man. But he was cool, man. We laughed so much. We laughed and talked about movies, old movies, with the director, and we just had a great time, man. You know, I'm happy it's coming out this year because we filmed that I think a couple years ago.
Okay, I actually was gonna ask
Yeah.
you when you filmed it in conjunction to when you filmed Ohio, because I was gonna say, well, how was it for you to go from a romantic comedy to a horror film and at the same time? But yeah, when was that?
Ohio, yeah, I filmed Ohio last year,
Okay.
2024, yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, so they had some space in between it, but in between that time, I was doing other stuff also. Um, but yeah, man, it's even if the time space were a little closer, and I had to jump from a romantic comedy, I mean, from a horror film straight to a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
You know, I have to go out and live life and be a little,
Yeah.
uh, college boy style for a while and go out there and party a little bit,
Yeah.
get that youthful energy
Yeah.
and then come back and be like, okay, let's go, let's get it.
Right. Right. Right.
You got to go live it sometime.
Yeah. No, I think it's really dope, man. I actually left this comment up on the screen just so that I wouldn't forget it. So shout out to Cat Queen again. She just said, "What has been one of your favorite roles to play?"
One of my favorite roles to play, I would say it's on the stage,
Okay.
not in film and
It's
TV.
interesting that you say that because a lot of actors will tell me that, and I think some like to be able to get like that immediate reaction from the fans and the people who are there and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, stage, you live the whole piece out like
Yeah,
in real time. In film, you kind of cut, in action, cut. All right, go to your trailers, wait for 2 hours, come back out, go back and finish this. So, you're busy like, okay, what did I do before this? And what did I do before that? So I can, piece these emotions together and everything. And on stage, you get a chance to just live the full character out in real time and straight through. So I would say if I had to name two, one for film and TV and one for stage. For stage, I would say it's out of two. Either CJ Memphis, a Soldier's Play. Charles Weldon directed it with the Negro Ensemble Company here in New York. We performed that. It was a sellout smash hit. I played CJ Memphis. That play was really, really fun to me because I told the director I know how to play a guitar and I really didn't know how to play a guitar because he wanted live. He said, I know you can act.
yeah,
I've seen you act before. I know you can act. But he was like, I don't want to use no track. I want somebody who can play that shit. That's
right,
how he talked, Charles.
right,
Somebody
right.
who can play it. So I was like, yeah, man, I can play it. He was like, all right, in 2 weeks, you come back. Man, I was up all night for I'm talking about getting 2, 3 hours sleep a day, and I'm
It's
down and I'm working on it. I'm working on it, and I say after the first week, I will play, and then I hear my neighbors out clapping.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, I must be getting somewhere. I'm
yeah.
getting
You must be getting
somewhere,
something right.
right? And
It's
so when
it's
I,
it's funny that you say it, just because actually earlier today, I was watching. I've been into the the ladies, Erica Alexander and Kim Coles from Living Single. They're doing the podcast now, the Reliving
Mhm.
Single
Yeah.
podcast, where they're going back through the old episodes. And they actually talked in their current episode. The episode hit yesterday. So they talked in the episode about how one of them was asked if they knew how to do something, and they just instantly said, "Yeah, I could do that." And then they spent
Yeah.
the next few weeks going out
Yeah.
before you learned it, before you went back for that audition or whatever. And actually, it was Kim Cole who said that, and she was
Yeah,
saying,
man. We ain't turning down no money.
"Yeah, listen, man,
You
I'm
can't
right
turn
along
it. You
with you.
can't turn it down. You can't turn it down. No,
Absolutely,
you got to get out and learn it, man. And I went out and I learned it, and we end up having like 2 big runs of that show. And so CJ Memphis was the one in theater, and I got a chance too to play Nat Turner in a play, Ma'afa, and they paid me some really good money to do it. So I was like, yeah, I'm willing to go wherever places I need to go to bring this character to life. My father was a minister, so I had a head start. I kind of created my own story within the story.
yeah,
And so that was a great experience, man. I remember because we did it at a church, right? So there's a scene came up when Nat Turner was out and he got caught. He was getting whipped, right? So I'm an actor. They hired me. They paid me this good money to go out there and show them some stuff. So I took them through all the emotions that Nat was going through, that I felt Nat was going through at that time. I think I hit everything, man, from snot rolling out the nose to standing up there taking the pain. You know what I'm saying? To being strong, to being
yeah,
broken down, to being weak. I did all that,
yeah.
everything. And after that, 3 ladies came up to me from the church with fans and said, we got to pray for you. they say, they said, we got to pray for you. We got to pray. So I'm like, why you got to pray for me? She was like, because there's some demons. What we saw up on stage, some demons in you. There's something in you. We got to pray from you. We can't let the demons of this play get in you. We can't let it happen. So they prayed for me, right? I let them pray for me. And I was never able to get back to that point again and during that scene.
What 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 is the process like? I actually had a whole other question to ask you, and now because of that, because of your last answer, like, what was the process of even preparing to play somebody like Nat Turner? Just knowing the place that Nat Turner has in history and leading the rebellion, like what was the preparation process for you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good question. The first thing I did was I did my research. I just watched everything I could about Nat Turner. And the second thing I did was I researched his favorite Bible scriptures,
Okay.
scriptures that he actually used to get his message through. Um, and I researched those, and I, you know, his wife Cherry, his kids. Like I did all my research first before I even picked up the script, before I even read the script. I just did all my research on Nat Turner during all that time. Um, I'm from a small town in Okeechobee, Florida. I'm a country boy. You know what I'm saying? It's racism everywhere, all over this
Absolutely.
world. So that wasn't hard for me to tap into.
Yeah.
But being from Okeechobee, man, I words cannot even explain how great the people in Okeechobee were and still are to me and my family and my friends, my people. Um, it's just a loving, loving, loving town, and I'm grateful that I grew up in Okeechobee because you leave with a different perspective when you see everything that's going on
Right.
in this world, and it really lets you know, like, wow, you come from a good place, a really good place where some
Absolutely.
really good people are. So when I was doing Nat Turner, I had to actually I had to go places that Nat would go mentally in order to portray him, but also keeping in mind that this is a play. So you don't cross that line to reality.
Right.
It's still a play. But that process was tough, man, because at some points I felt myself actually going crazy
Yeah.
doing rehearsal,
Yeah.
like going
And
crazy,
sometimes
like
I would imagine it's hard to, like, sometimes you can't just turn it off after rehearsal, and that sometimes you leave and you can't really turn it off, and you start having thoughts and visions and all
right.
kinds.
You can't because you so indulged into the character that you're thinking about it all the time because
Yeah.
you want to know as much as you can about it, about the character and about the piece. So he was on my mind every second of the day. I was constant. I would wake up at night and go look in the Bible and read the
Yeah.
verses that he would, in some of his sermons that he preached. Read some of the verses and it's just and like just trying to find out like what did he see in this? What did he see that was different? Like why did he say those words from reading the scripture? And so what I did was I knew Nat Turner, I knew the story of Nat Turner, so I knew I had to actually secretly. This was the challenge because this wasn't in the script.
Right.
I had to secretly organize a revolt without letting the audience know, not without letting people know, even in the play. The other actors, the white actors.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I had to create a story within the story.
Yeah.
So certain times when I would be preaching to the congregation and I point to somebody, if I point to someone, they know that I pointed to them,
Right.
but the church thinking I'm just excited and I'm just
Yeah.
pointing,
Yeah.
but that person was the person that was going to meet me that night. So I would point out like 5 people. I would give them like different things. Like when I point, that's for you. If I start like kissing the Holy Ghost or going jumping up and down, that's for
Right.
this person
Right.
and
Right.
this for that person. So I had like 5 different movements that I would do, for those people to be alerted that they're the ones. And so it was kind of, we were communicating through dance and through church, basically.
Yeah.
And so once they realized that they were chosen, then their character changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Their character changed, and it helped them out a lot. It helped the actor out because the actor said, "Okay, from this point, my mindset is we're about to do some stuff. We got a
Yeah.
meeting, and we know something's about to go down." So it was interesting in putting that all together. It wasn't a fun piece at all. It wasn't fun. I mean, it was fun putting it together, but to actually live it and have to go through that over and over every night for that duration of that month that we did it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was some heavy work, but I had great cast members. The young lady that played my wife that played Cherry, Anju Hippolyte. She's an amazing actress. She played my wife Cherry in the piece, and even after rehearsals, just being able to sit with her, just talk about it and stuff. So we kind of developed a relationship that Nat Turner and Cherry had, because
Yeah.
she was a real supporter of him, and he stressed out like the church and everybody didn't see the size of him that she saw,
Right.
and so she was his piece. She would bring him back on track and stuff. And so playing this character kind of took me there, because I get confused about everything.
Yeah.
I would like know it and then not know it. And then,
Yeah.
knowing this story happened like this, but then, something else down the line just confused me. And that was what was going through in his head too,
Right.
putting everything together. But once the character became clear on his vision from talking to God,
Right.
that was the transition that I made in the piece where everything became clear to me when I had in the woods when I talked to God
Yeah.
um, before he goes out and do his thing. But
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
I mean, I think like I take my hat off to you, man, because like pieces like this are so important. I mean, obviously we're in a place and we're in a state right now where Black history is being erased. And there's a lot of people who don't really know like the true and the genuine stories. And the way that you took on this role and obviously did your research and you put all the extra effects into it to make people really get it and understand it, like that's an actor. Like that's a veteran actor right there. And that's somebody who clearly can direct and who can produce too. So I mean that to me that speaks
Exactly.
in terms of why you're where you are in your career. Like, I think this is amazing. And then you have an 11-year-old daughter. So, like, she
Yeah.
needs to be able to know about people like Nat Turner and stories like these and where we come
Oh,
and
bruh.
she's not gonna get it. She's not gonna get it in school. She's not gonna
Let
get
me
it.
tell you. No, well, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about her though. Like, I'm very involved in her school stuff. I go on field trips with them and everything.
I did the
Two
same thing.
different,
Mine is in his
yeah,
second year
bro.
of college now, but
Now,
I
I
did.
was parent teacher. I got my certificate on the wall over there and
Yeah,
everything. I got all that. But this little girl, man, when doing it's two things. During COVID, they were having school by Zoom,
yeah,
and it was doing Thanksgiving break right before Thanksgiving break. So the teacher was going around saying, uh, "So Thanksgiving break is up. Tell me something great about Thanksgiving." So all the kids were saying, they come raise their hand. It's like, oh, Thanksgiving is great because you have a turkey and everybody eats. It's like, yeah, yeah. Another kid was like, yeah, Thanksgiving is great because the family got to Mariella. And the teacher said, what's great about Thanksgiving? She said, to be honest with you, there's nothing great about Thanksgiving because Christopher Columbus came over here and they killed all the Indians and the blacks.
yeah.
That's what she said.
I,
I didn't tell her to say that.
yeah.
You
But
know what I'm saying?
there's something about, and all of this goes back to you and your role as a father and the role
Yeah.
that you play in her education and how important you have made it. So now she makes it important to make sure that she know what she's talking about and that she's really
Hmm.
taking in and understanding things that are going on. My son is exactly the same way, and
Yeah,
I was
man.
the same way. Like the awards on the wall for the parent teacher conference, and like I
Yeah.
remember my son, and he was diagnosed with ADHD in maybe the third grade. So I can
Hmm.
remember when he went to fourth grade, it was a new school, new principal. It turned out the principal was one of my sister's teachers when I was in elementary school in
Hmm.
another district. So then he knows the whole family. He gave me a key card to the school. So I would just pop up at the school and just be standing in the
Wow.
hallway and waiting on my son to do something so he could turn around and see me standing out in the hallway. But like from the parent teacher conferences to the field trips to the pee wee football to baseball to all of that stuff, like I did all of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
you gotta do that. And
You
effort that
gotta do it.
effort you put in matches the effort that they put in, and it shows because she was able to answer that question, and she was being honest. Like it's nothing good about it because
It's nothing surprises me about her, man. We took a field trip to the museum. It was Egyptian week. So the tour guide is telling us about all the pyramids and showing us mummies and all these artifacts. And she went around the room, asked for questions, and Mariella asked them, she said, did y'all pay them for all this stuff? Like, who says that? She said, did y'all pay them or did y'all just take it?
yeah,
And the guy said, that's a good question.
right.
She was like, it was a mutual agreement.
They didn't know what to say. They was
They
just
know they know what to say, but she's like that. She's just woke, man. She called me. She called me about a month ago, and she said, "Daddy, can I be Muslim?" And she was like, my father, I'm a Baptist preacher. My father is. We raised up in the church, Jesus. Christ, and
Yeah.
she said, "Can I be Muslim?" I said, "Well, I said it's a lot of work." I said, "You got to read the Quran." So I got her a Quran. I got her. She's in Mexico now, but she calling me saying, "Did you go to the store yet?" She want me to buy her. I think she called her. I forgot. I don't. I'm not. She know more
I
about it,
was
but
gonna
she
say the
just
Hajib or yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
Hajib. Yes,
Yeah,
Hajib. She done memorized the prayer. She
yeah,
done memorized all this stuff. So, and my thing is like this, she's 11 years old. If it's something that she want to stick with it and go
absolutely.
with it and do it, even if she decides to change her mind, she's still educated on the subject.
Yeah, she has that right, and I love the fact that you encourage her to just do the work behind it, and if it's where your heart is, then do it. Just make sure that you do the work behind it, and you. I'm just like I love that. I really love the fact that you do that. It speaks to who you are as a person, who you are as a father, and like that's gonna take her a long way. Like
Yeah.
even at 11, I'm just thinking like she gonna go a long way. Like I think that's really really dope. So kudos to you, man.
Oh
Um,
man.
I know that you saved somebody's life recently. I really want you to talk a little bit about
Grayson. Yeah. We were down in Florida. Where I'm from, my family, we went to Orlando. We kind of take a family trip around the 4th of July.
that. Okay.
And
How
my
far is that
daughter
from
came
Orlando?
down. It's probably an hour and something,
Okay.
hour and 40,
Okay.
45, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. It just give me an
So,
idea geographically, but yeah.
yeah. So we're at this resort, Evermore Resort, and they got a man-made beach out there. They got all this swinging from, ropes into the water and all that. And so I was with my daughter. We had just came from sliding down one of the big slides and came over to the man-made beach, and it's about 20 of us, my family. We all in the water and stuff and playing along with other guests. And the water gets like deep really quick,
Yeah.
like really deep to where I couldn't stand up at some point. So I'm at the point where my neck is the water's up to my neck.
Yeah.
And for some reason, something told me to just glance to my left. And when I glanced, I saw a little kid. I didn't know if he was swimming at first or if he was fighting water,
Yeah.
And I saw this lady on the side in the distance waving, like, is he okay? Is he okay? But I couldn't really tell if she was like fanning to say, oh, he's all right or whatever. But I just took my instincts and I swam over and I picked the kid up. And when I picked him up, his body was limp, man.
Oh wow.
He had swallowed so much water, he was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And so I'm swimming with him for a little bit until I can stand up. And I'm walking out of the water and I see, well, I'm not quite out of the water yet, but his stomach is really big.
Yeah.
So I started pushing his stomach down and water started coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So I kept doing it, gently pushing his stomach. Water kept coming out. And right before I got out, he coughed and started crying.
Yeah.
And then he passed back out. He passed out again. And then the lifeguards ran over. Well, they saw me bringing him out of the water. They were on their way.
Yeah.
And we laid him down on the bench. And his eyes was closed. And he was just laying there. And I asked him, I said, can you squeeze my hand? And he squeezed my hand. And I know that he was with us.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
there with us. And then I kind of just let them. I sat there while he squeezed my hand, and I was telling his mom like he's going to be all right. He's going to be okay. She was so terrified.
Yeah.
Then the
I mean, can you
paramedics.
imagine? Like that's God all day long. Like for you to be where you were and to even have that
At that
instinct
moment,
to look over and see
yeah,
somebody else. And as you described it, man, that is a horrible feeling to see a child. And I worked in healthcare I worked in healthcare for about 22 years. So I used to work in the emergency room. So I've literally seen kids who drown at the beach and they come into the hospital and their stomach is full of water, and
wow,
that's a bad feeling, like tears, like that's a bad feeling. So I can only
yeah,
even
yeah,
through your head. as you're looking at this, and even in the moment of telling her that everything is gonna be okay, it's like you kind of still don't really know, but
Right. Exactly.
trying to console her and make her feel a little bit better and more at ease because
Hmm.
everybody feels guilty. Like I should have did, I should, but God had you in the right place, and it's weird because I've always had that relationship with God, but I've only been more vocal about it maybe for the last 4 to 5 years, and I'm in a place now in my life where I feel like I can see when God steps in, and when stuff happens, like I can tell when it's like a God move, and when something is happening because of God and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I speak about that kind of stuff a lot, but like kudos to you just for even having the mental capacity and the senses to just jump in. And because sometimes people will go into shock and they like, I don't know if I should help. I don't know if I shouldn't help. I don't know if
Right.
that's a lot, man. Like kudos to you for that. But then I know that, after all of this has kind of passed and he's healed and whatnot, you're doing a lot of things and really working with this kid now and taking him to, opening,
Yeah.
his eyes to
Yeah.
things and giving him access to stuff, which I think is really amazing too.
Well, I think it's important that this kid doesn't develop a fear
Yeah,
because of what happened, a fear, and just understand that you have to respect Mother Nature, you have to respect water, you know, and so my nephew plays for the New York Giants. The kid he's a huge football fan, 5 years old, and when he was out, barely able to speak, he was like he was so weak,
yeah,
his eyes closed, but he was squeezing my hand. I asked him, "Do you like football?" He shook his head, yeah, real softly. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to take him to a football game, a New York Giants football game, so he can actually see a professional team play.
yeah.
But it was for me, it's just instinctive. I love humanity, man. I love,
I do too.
it's not, they sent me all, the hotel sent me, I mean, the resort, they sent me all these gifts.
And it's
They was
like,
just,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
you're
they
not
was,
even doing it for that. Like it's the
right, it's
gesture is
right.
cool, but it's like that's not even that's where my mind would be is that the gesture is cool, but on the same token, that's not even what it's about for me. Like it's about the
Yeah,
humanity of it and just the love
yeah.
of life and helping somebody else and not having an ulterior motive in you helping somebody.
Mhm.
And
Right, right. Don't get me wrong. I love the gifts.
yeah, I mean,
Love
absolutely,
the gifts. Love the gifts. Yeah, but it's like
absolutely,
it's like if they wouldn't have gave me gifts, it wouldn't have made me feel any different. I felt really good about myself. First thing I did was just thank God for putting me in that position, and making me ready for it. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about, being prepared
yeah, yeah,
for it. And that's what I did. People would ask me, it's like, oh man, especially on Facebook, I created a little story of my trip and everything, and I kind of put that in there, not heavy but light.
yeah, yeah,
They wrote me a card and said hero, and all this stuff, and that's I totally appreciate that. I love that because it just lets me know that people do appreciate you
yeah,
when you do great things.
absolutely,
Well, for me though, it's the relationship with the kid. Because something like that can be tragic. It's very tragic to him, and it can actually create a lot of phobias.
yeah, absolutely.
From that. Yeah, yeah.
Now I think it's and from the heart, man. Like I think it's a testament to who you are as a person, but then it also goes back to your parents and how you were raised, and like it all goes back to your parents because I feel like I'm really good to people and I try to be good to people and I don't want nothing in return. It's not an ulterior
Mhm.
motive. I just want to be good to people. But I realize that that comes from my mother because my mother was good to people like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have no choice but to be good to people because it's just what you're supposed to do.
It's in your nature. It was
Yeah.
implanted in you. Yeah, and just love it, like just helping people. Why would I? I mean, even in New York, you know, I've had a number of instances where I'm walking down the street and a guy laid down bleeding from the head on the concrete, his old wife kneeling down beside him trying to tell him to get up, and people just walking by like
Yeah,
nothing, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm that one that stops and be like, hey, can I do anything? You all right? We need to call the ambulance. We need to
right,
do this. It
right.
always needed someone's got to come in and take charge of the situation, because
Absolutely.
sometimes people, like you say, they become stuck, or you know, because of just where we are in the world today, you know, people rather film it with their phone than to actually
Yeah,
help
yeah,
someone.
yeah, absolutely. But I'm and not really sticking on that, but you're also doing some other amazing things to help a lot of people too. And I'm speaking primarily of the acting workshops and whatnot that you're doing and teaching people the craft and how to maneuver through this business, which I think is amazing because I'm actually working on putting together a nonprofit where it'll help
Hmm.
kids like our kids, so black kids, get
Hmm.
into media and do this kind of stuff from right here where they are, whether they're in Cleveland or somewhere else. Or like I grew up,
Yeah.
and the reality is, I've a lifetime I've wanted to do this. Um, at one point I wanted to work for the big conglomerates, so the BETs, the CNNs, and all of that kind
Hmm.
of. And then eventually, I got to a place where I only wanted to do independent stuff. But I always felt like I got to get out of Cleveland to be able to do that because it ain't nothing happening here. And then when I got out of Cleveland, it was like my son ain't like being down south. So it was like I got to go back to Cleveland. So I
Yeah.
mean, it ended up being a blessing because the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've interviewed and all of the stuff that I've been able to do, I've done it from right here in the city. Um,
Mm.
just kind of doing my own thing and on the independent front. So now I want this nonprofit where I can kind of create that resource and that ability for to help our kids really get into it if it's what they want to do, and be able to teach them like the media side of it, the red carpet side of it, the podcasting, the radio, and all
Hmm.
of that stuff. But all of this is like a passion. So to be able to see you doing this type of thing and doing the workshops, I think that that's dope. So kudos to you for that.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you, man. I had to, you know, I had to. I just believe that, you know, this art form that we do is so amazing that, you know, it's also a form of healing also.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of young kids who they're not good in sports, or and you know, as far as my hometown Okeechobee, you know, they're not playing sports, they're not into agriculture, so what do? You know, they just sit around and try to find something, or they, you know, if they're artists, they try to create their own stuff.
Right.
You know, so I put together the Jimmy Gary Film Acting Workshop, and it was a blast. Man, we had such a great time. The kids absolutely loved it. It was like a crash course, man, like
Yeah.
a 2 weeks crash course. So by the time they finished the workshop, they would have headshots, resume, a film credit, because we
That's
shoot a movie
that's
also.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that is really amazing. You got headshots and you got a film credit already. Man, listen. I,
exactly.
I think
Yeah,
that's madness.
and they're learning the craft, you know. So
Yeah.
we're teaching them the craft. We bring them in the scary audition room. Like we made it 10 times scarier than it really is, because we want to, you know. I mean, we sat behind the curtain on the stage. The curtains were red, so you know it had that red glare
Uh-huh.
from the lights, and it was like, so it was like where Count Dracula lived, man. It was like that. So we had to walk up the steps, and they had to walk down this long hall
Yeah.
to get to the stage. And once they got there on the stage, they had to walk about 25 feet just to get to us. So we, you know, when they got there, they told me, they were like, that was the most scariest thing I've ever been through in my
I
life.
bet.
And so when they actually go on a real audition, they're gonna be like, this is a piece of cake.
Uh-huh.
We've
But
gone
I
through
think
some
but I
harder
think it's
stuff.
cool though because they at least they have an idea of what to expect. And then they're
Yeah.
getting it from somebody who has been in this industry, who is working hard, who has accomplished major things. And then, you know, at least specifically for, the brown and the black kids, like they're
Hmm.
getting it from somebody who looks like them. Like I
Right.
think like that's far more important than anybody could ever imagine. So like I think it's really dope that you have this. How long have you had the workshops?
This is the first year, the first summer I've done
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It's always been, it's just finally manifested, you know.
Yeah.
But I've always
This stuff take
had,
time. Man. Like I've
yeah,
been planning this nonprofit like for real, for at least 5 years. And
uh,
I'm really just now to the place where I'm like, okay, I can kind of start getting some of this stuff off the ground, and I have some of the resources where I can make it happen. And that's really
right.
been my thing. Like my media company, once I really figured out what I wanted to do, and I said, okay, I want to have all aspects of independent digital media. I want to have all
Mm,
aspects of that within my company down to the PR. So eventually I'll be doing all my own PR, and I'll have people working for me who are handling my PR and that sort of thing.
mm,
Um, I kind of just wanted to build my own, I guess, mega firm, if you will, and just
yeah.
kind of all of the pieces and parts to it. So I think it's really dope, man. And I get my inspiration from people like you who are doing it, and I'm watching. Like, I appreciate you, for the time. Like, my thing also has been to create a media safe space. Like,
Yeah.
media is in a place right now, especially independent Black media. Like, people don't want to talk to us. They feel like we're gonna twist their words and create other kind of stories and salacious headlines and stuff like that. And I just want to build and create and nurture platforms that are safe for people to come and talk, and they can talk about their projects and things that they work
Mm,
on, and it be genuine. And like I said in the
right.
beginning, build the genuine relationship. So it means even more to have you come back for a second interview, because now I can officially say that you're like extended family and whatnot. And I tell
Uh,
everybody, like, I'm actually creating a section on the website that's just going to be for people who have been on any of the platforms, and they'll be like in the frame pictures and all of that kind of shit. And it's
right. Yeah. Yeah.
this is
That's
family.
cool.
And I think it's really cool, man, because like you and so many other people are really affording me the opportunity to be able to do this. Like I can't do this if you don't come on the platform, or if your fans ain't watching. Then I
Right.
can't. It's not gonna work, especially
Right.
on the independent front. Like I think the
Hmm.
independent side is making so much more noise than than the big people right now. Like you got your you got your Don Lemons, and like you got all these people, your Joy Reeds, and a lot of them
Yeah.
independent now, and they doing their own thing, and they're not with the MSNBCs and CNNs and the BETs and stuff like that anymore. So it's
Hmm.
like I've been doing it all this time, and now it's like it's blowing up for everybody. So it's really a
Yeah.
cool thing. But my thing is really building that safe space. So I appreciate you, man, because like you are an intricate part of this.
Oh man, I appreciate you bringing me.
Oh, absolutely. Social media. I
Mhm.
know you got a few. Well, I mean, it's pretty much the same, but you got Jimmy Gary Jr., which is on Instagram, and then
Yep.
um, Jimmy Gary New York, or Jimmy Gary. Is it Jimmy Gary
No,
Jr. New York, or just Jimmy Gary New
no,
York?
you know what? It's Jimmy Gary Jr. across all platforms.
Got you. Okay.
That's simple. If you go to Facebook, it's Jimmy Gary Jr. Instagram, Jimmy Gary Jr. TikTok, Jimmy Gary Jr.
Okay. Okay. So I was.
Yeah.
I think I was just going maybe from the press
From,
release or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, that's cool. And that's one of the things that I've learned over the past few years, like just in terms of branding. You need to
Hmm.
be the same across all platforms so that people don't get confused and they know how to get you.
Right.
So no, I
Yep.
think that's dope. Any kind of final words, final comments, anything you wanted to mention that we didn't talk about?
I can say a couple things that I'm excited about. I'm
Okay.
extremely excited about the artist that her name is LaShawn. She's an artist that was recently on American Idol.
Okay.
Season 23. Her hit song, "The Woman," is doing very well. She got new music coming out, so I'm kind of juggling, the music thing and the acting stuff. I'm staying busy and I'm loving every
I
bit of
love
it.
it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
Like
but
I
I'm
love
giving her a big shout out. Very proud of her hard work. I know I'd be dragging. She said I'd be dragging her through the mud, but we got to get it going. We got to keep it going.
Yeah.
you know, but she's you know, I can't wait for the world to really hear her music because she's really soulful and bluesy and all that.
Yeah. No, I think that's dope. Little tidbit. Fantasia's my cousin. When you mentioned the idol, I'm like, I'm gonna tell him. But I
Really?
yeah, but I think that's dope,
Oh,
man.
that's cool.
I
That's
think
cool.
I think that's really, really dope for her to have somebody that's actually nurturing her through it. And then I
Yeah.
love seeing people that kind of touch on all different forms of the industry. So you got acting, you got directing, you got producing, and now you on the music side of it too. Like
Music side, yeah. I didn't realize I have a really good ear. You know, it all started when I played CJ Memphis, and I had to teach myself how to play the guitar. Then I really, you know, that's when it all started. And then I was bit. I was bitten by the bug.
yeah,
But yeah, man, I'm just happy to have a friend and to be able to be a part of her journey
yeah.
and to help her journey. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty
No,
much
I
it,
think that's
brother.
dope. No, I think that's really amazing, man. Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I know we're gonna do this again. Brandon always keep me on the up and up. So like I
Yeah,
appreciate him reaching out because he reached out to me yesterday and he's like, well, give me some dates. I'm like, what about tomorrow? So like I think it's dope, man.
yeah,
Um I love doing this. So like at a moment's notice, I'm like, listen, let's put it together. Let's get on. Let's talk. Like I think it's dope. So I
yeah.
appreciate
It's
you,
wonderful.
man. I'm looking for these projects next Friday, especially Oh High. Like I'm ready to watch that.
Oh
Um
yeah, I heard it was. I'm just grateful, man. That you know, sometimes as an actor, you got to go out there and hit the pavements and
yeah,
work and this.
absolutely.
But I'm grateful, man. Like these two roles, I was just a phone call, like, hey Jimmy, would you want to do this? You know, and when that happens, you gotta. That's those are blessings.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm making my cameo in Ojai in the home. Two great movies. What are the odds that both are released on the July 25th? That's crazy to me, man.
I think it's amazing, man. Like you don't see too often that somebody has two different movies coming out on the same day. Like
Same day. I know, right?
I'm with it, man. Like this, it's worth celebrating, man. So I'm gonna be
Yeah.
posting about both of these projects throughout the next week and really putting some
Oh,
shine on the fact that you got two movies coming out. And I didn't tell Brandon, he's probably watching, and I
yeah.
didn't tell Brandon, but I'm gonna actually put together a cover story for the magazine. So I'm gonna throw you on the cover of the magazine.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
That will be out within the next week. So it'll be out before
Okay,
the release day. So I just
cool.
put that out there, and I'm sure because I see the it's still people on there watching, so I'm sure he's probably watching, and I'll talk to
Yeah.
him here, but I'm gonna grab a picture from him and all that jazz, and I'll have it
Okay.
together for you, and it'll be out before the two movies come out next Friday.
Grab the picture in the black suit. That's the one you want.
That's cool. Listen, tell him to send it. Tell him to send it to me. Look, have him send it to me. I'll have your cover done tonight. So
Okay,
because
perfect.
that's one thing. I'm like, I posted a picture on Instagram a couple days where it's probably like 20 of me sitting in a room, and I'm like, this is when you are your own team. So I'm like, I do all the graphics and everything, man. So
I
I have
know that
your
that's
cover
how it
done for
is.
you tonight.
Yeah. Truly appreciate it.
All right, man. So we'll talk some more, but thank you so much.
Thank you, man. It's been fun.
All right, man. You have a good night.
You too. Until next time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, now.
Peace.
Hey, listen, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna get off of here real quick because my battery on this laptop has about 3% left to it. But that was a really, really dope interview. Really good having him back on the platform again. I think before he may have just been on maybe the entertainment plug, but we got so many different platforms now that it's a little difficult to keep up. But Mr. Jimmy Gary Jr. Make sure that you guys are checking him out. We definitely have a feature with him from the past. He was in UG Digital Magazine. He was a part of Orange is the New Black, Ray Donovan, All My Children, so many other projects. He's done over 50 projects out here. But again, he's got some amazing things going, and he's got two new movies dropping next Friday. Those are The Home and Oh Hi. So we'll talk some more about that stuff. I got to get off of here before the computer die. But I appreciate you guys. Make sure that you guys are hitting us up. Make sure that you guys are following him across all platforms. It is Jimmy Gary Jr. So JIMMYGARYJR. That's on all platforms, Instagram, X, and on Facebook. So you guys can pull him up. Again, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get out of here, charge my computer. We got a lot coming up over the weekend. Cat Queen, thank you so much. I see you still there in the comments. Thank you very, very much for the comments and the other people who had comments in there as well. We have Philly Whedon on Saturday at 3 p.m. We also have DJ Squirt at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And we got a lot of other stuff coming too. Eric Roberson, we were on with him yesterday. So that is streaming on the network. That is at U.G.D podcasting and radio.info. Okay, that's enough for now. Just my computer's about to die in 2%. So y'all have a good night. And we're going to talk again.